Let me tell you something that'll shape the course of your entire future. Distraction is not a minor inconvenience. It is the silent thief of destiny. It's the assassin of greatness. You can't hit a target you don't stay focused on. And I don't care how talented you are, how many goals you write down, or how badly you want it. If you're distracted, you're drifting. If you're drifting, and if you're losing, then the life you're capable of living is slipping right through your fingers while you scroll, wander, or delay. You see, the world is full of noise. Not just sound, but noise. Useless information. Pointless arguments, endless opinions. You've got to decide if you're going to be the kind of person who reacts to everything or the kind of person who is building something so important you don't even hear the noise anymore. The warrior mindset. Now, that's a rare thing because a warrior doesn't look around every 5 minutes wondering what everybody else is doing. A warrior keeps their eyes locked on the target. The battlefield could be chaos, the crowd could be screaming, but that warrior's vision is fixed, unwavering. Let me put it like this. If you're always reacting, you're never acting. And that's the problem for most people. They're swiping, refreshing, clicking, checking, busy doing everything except the thing that builds wealth, builds character, builds success. Here's what I learned early. A distracted mind cannot accumulate treasure. It leaks energy like a broken dam. And wealth, real wealth, the kind that lasts, is not created in chaos. It is created in concentrated, intentional, focused work. So here's the question. Are you focused or just busy? Don't confuse motion with progress. Don't confuse activity with achievement. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're becoming someone. Real progress, real change comes when you shut the door, silence the world, and get serious. When you cut off the distractions, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but today, and you declare, this is what I'm building, and nothing is going to pull me off track. Now, let's get practical. Take inventory of your distractions. What's stealing your attention every day? What's interrupting your flow? Is it your phone, the TV, endless scrolling, toxic conversations, doubtful voices? Get honest. You can't fix what you won't face. Warriors don't lie to themselves. They face the facts and then they fight forward. There's a Latin phrase I love. Age quod egis. It means do what you are doing. Be present, be engaged, be locked in. When you eat, eat. When you train, train. When you build your business, build it with full attention. Don't live distracted. Because when you do, you train your mind to be weak. You program your brain to expect interruption. You rob yourself of the muscle that builds empires, discipline. Let me tell you, success is not just about talent or timing. It's about tunnel vision, the ability to ignore the noise, push aside the nonsense, and say, I've got something to build. The greats, the ones who leave legacies, weren't lucky. They were focused. They knew their time was limited. They treated every hour like gold, not a minute wasted. And they didn't let anyone, friends, family, society, talk them out of their destiny. You want to attract wealth? Then stop attracting distractions. Guard your time like it's treasure, because it is. Distractions are expensive, and they don't just cost you hours, they cost you your future. Every moment you give to something meaningless is a moment you can't give to your purpose. The warrior mindset says this: I'm not available for everything. I'm not saying yes to every invitation. I'm not wasting energy on things that don't matter. You've got to be ruthless with your time and generous with your vision. Ruthless with your distractions, generous with your focus. Don't forget, wealth follows attention. Wherever your attention goes, your results flow. So if your attention is scattered, so are your results. If your mind is sharp, your future will be clear. But if your mind is cloudy, your destiny will be delayed. That's just how it works. And here's what's even more dangerous. Most people don't even know they're distracted. They've been distracted for so long they think it's normal. They've trained their minds to expect a break every 5 minutes. But warriors, they train their minds to go deep, to think long, to work through resistance, because they know that while the world is distracted, they are designing a future few will ever experience. So here's your challenge. Kill the distractions before they kill your dream. Don't let your phone win. Don't let fear win. Don't let opinions win. Win the battle in your mind, and you'll win in your bank account. Win the war with distraction, and you'll start attracting the very things you once chased. You've got to see distraction for what it really is, a thief in disguise. It doesn't come in with sirens, it slips in silently, it masks itself as entertainment, comfort, rest. But you've got to call it what it is, enemy of your destiny. And the warrior? He doesn't negotiate with the enemy, he eliminates it. So eliminate it, not tomorrow, now. Get focused, stay focused, and whatever you do, don't let go of that vision. Because the clearer your focus, the louder your results. And when your results start speaking, the distractions get quiet all on their own. You don't stumble into success. You don't just accidentally wake up one morning wealthy and free. That's not how it works. Not for the warriors, not for the builders, not for those of us who come from humble beginnings. You get wealthy by focused effort. You get wealthy because you've made a decision. A real one. A decision backed by clarity, discipline, and deliberate action. You see, the key is not just effort, it's focused effort. Because scattered effort is like sunlight through a broken magnifying glass. It warms, but it doesn't ignite. But take that same light, focus it, and you've got fire. That's what happens when you concentrate your attention, your energy, and your time on one clear purpose. You begin to attract results. You begin to build something meaningful. Now, here's the mistake most people make. They major in minor things. They say yes to everything and wonder why they don't have time for the things that matter. But if you want to join the 3%, the wealthy, the wise, you've got to start eliminating. You've got to cut the fluff. You've got to get real clear about what moves the needle and what doesn't. Most people are too busy being busy, but wealth builders are busy being effective. Big difference. They don't chase every trend. They don't drown in distractions. They don't let entertainment steal hours that could have been invested into their dreams. No, they choose to focus. They choose to go deep rather than wide. They choose mastery over popularity. I remember the day I realized that I didn't need more hours. I needed more clarity. I didn't need more effort, I needed more focus. That's when everything changed. That's when my income caught up with my intention. That's when I stopped spinning in circles and started climbing. Because here's the truth. Wealth follows structure. It follows systems. It follows strategy. And none of those can exist without focus. Focus is the gatekeeper of your energy. Focus is what turns scattered motion into meaningful progress. Focus is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the builders. So if you want wealth, stop drifting. Get serious, get specific, know what you want and why you want it. Then build a schedule around it. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because your future does. Turn off the noise. Say no to what doesn't serve, and remember, nothing works until you do. But when you work with focus, with discipline, with direction, that's when wealth begins to take notice. You've got to guard the gate of your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. See, what gets in eventually comes out. Your words, your decisions, your income, your habits, they're all shaped by what you allow through that gate. Most people spend hours worrying about what they eat, what they wear, what they post online, but they spend almost no time filtering what they allow into their minds. Now think about this. If someone tried to dump trash in your living room, you'd stop them, wouldn't you? You'd say, "Hey, not here. Take that mess somewhere else." But too often, we let trash into our minds without resistance. Negativity, gossip, fear, doubt, junk media, toxic conversations. We scroll, we consume, we absorb, and then we wonder why we feel tired, discouraged, confused. The mind is a garden. If you don't plant flowers, the weeds will take over. If you don't intentionally fill it with ideas, wisdom, and truth, then the world will fill it for you with distractions, with fear, with noise. You've got to treat your mind like prime real estate and raise the rent. Not everything and not everyone deserves access. Ask yourself, who am I listening to? What books am I reading? What voices am I allowing to shape my beliefs about money, success, and life? Because your results are a reflection of your philosophy. And your philosophy is a product of what you feed your mind. Every millionaire I've met, every successful entrepreneur I've talked to, they all had one thing in common. They were extremely selective about who they spent time with and what they consumed. They didn't waste time arguing with critics. They didn't soak in negativity. They surrounded themselves with thinkers, builders, readers, and leaders. They spent their mornings with great books, not with the news. They spent their nights planning tomorrow, not worrying about today. And listen, guarding your mind doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means elevating yourself. It means choosing to rise above the chatter and staying locked in on your vision. It means replacing entertainment with education, replacing complaints with commitment, replacing noise with nourishment. Because here's the truth, your income can never grow faster than your mind. Your results will never outpace your beliefs. You want to change your life, start with your thoughts. Guard the gate, be ruthless about what enters. And watch how your mindset sharpens, your actions align, and your success multiplies. Don't just filter your food, filter your thoughts. You become what you consume, so consume wisely. Next, you've got to learn the power of a well-placed no. And I mean, say it without guilt, without apology, and without hesitation. Why? Because your dream, your purpose, demands your full attention. And every time you say yes to something that doesn't move you forward, you're saying no to the very thing you say you want most. Now let me tell you, this isn't about being rude. It's about being responsible. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't owe everyone your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, especially if they're bringing distractions instead of direction. A warrior doesn't swing at everything. A warrior waits, focuses, selects the right target, and strikes with purpose. That's how you build wealth. That's how you build a life. By saying yes only to what matters most and no to the rest. Most people get trapped in the web of maybe and someday. They keep attending every event, replying to every message, chasing every shiny object, afraid they might miss out. But what they're really missing out on is the future they could have built, if only they had the courage to say no. You see, success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less, but doing it better. It comes from eliminating the unnecessary so you can double down on the essential. And that requires clarity, it requires discipline, and it requires the ability to look someone in the eye and say, no, I'm working on something that matters right now. It might make you unpopular for a while. People may not understand. That's okay, let them misunderstand, let them talk. While they're distracted by the crowd, you're focused on the crown. While they're chasing every invitation, you're building an invitation-proof future. One where success shows up on your doorstep because you stayed faithful to the process. When you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to your destiny. When you say no to time wasters, you're saying yes to wealth builders. When you say no to fitting in, you're saying yes to standing out. So next time you feel pressure to say yes just to please someone, pause and ask yourself, does this move me closer to who I want to become? Does this serve my vision, my health, my legacy? If the answer is no, then let your response be say it with confidence. Say it with conviction. Say it like someone who understands that purpose is too precious to be diluted by distractions. Say no and mean it. That's how warriors win. Something I learned early and never forgot. You will not always feel like it. There will be mornings you wake up tired, evenings you feel discouraged, and whole weeks where motivation walks out the door without saying goodbye. And if your success depends on how you feel, you're in trouble. Because feelings are fickle, but routines are faithful. That's why you build systems. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. A warrior doesn't rely on inspiration. A warrior relies on structure, discipline, ritual, habits that fight for you when your motivation has left the building. When I was getting serious about success, I realized I had to design a schedule that didn't wait for me to feel good. I had to create a rhythm that pulled me forward regardless of my mood, so I set my mornings in order. I built a routine, a quiet hour to read, think, plan. I carved out focused blocks of time to build my dream. Not just once in a while, daily. That's how empires are built, brick by brick, system by system. The key is automation. You automate success by locking in routines. that serve. So when motivation dips, your habits take over. Now, don't mistake this for rigidity. This is freedom, because once you've built a set of habits aligned with your goals, you no longer have to wrestle with indecision. You don't wake up and wonder, should I work today? Should I read today? Should I train today? The answer is already in the routine. You don't decide the day, you design the day. That's power. It's like sharpening a blade. You don't wait until battle to start honing your sword. You do it daily when no one's watching. That's what routines are. They're the sharpening stone of champions. Quiet, repetitive, powerful. Most people wait until they feel like succeeding, but the ones who win are those who've built their lives to keep moving. Regardless of the weather, storm or sunshine, they show up. Because it's not about motivation, it's about identity. This is what I do. This is who I am. So ask yourself, what routines have you built that protect your purpose when you don't feel like pursuing it? If you don't have them, build them. Morning rituals, focused time blocks, accountability systems, small hinges that swing big doors. In the end, it's not motivation that builds success, it's structure. Build a routine so strong it drags you forward when your mind wants to quit. That's what warriors do. They don't wait for the feeling, they create the force. Success isn't something you stumble into because you felt lucky one day. It's earned, built, forged in the small moments where you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure. And one of the greatest battles you'll ever face on the road to success is the war against instant gratification. See, the world today is built on speed, fast food, fast likes, fast money schemes. But here's the truth that the marketplace rarely advertises. Wealth and greatness don't come fast. They come to the one who's willing to wait, to labor, to persist. A warrior doesn't take shortcuts. A warrior knows the price of mastery is patience. Now here's the danger. Every time you choose that easy dopamine hit, whether it's scrolling on your phone, watching another show, or indulging in comfort rather than challenge, you're reinforcing weakness. You're feeding the wrong wolf, and if you feed it long enough, it takes over your habits, your time, and eventually your life. But if you starve it, if you learn to delay that fleeting pleasure and instead invest that moment into growth, into your craft, into your goals, you strengthen the muscle that attracts wealth and success. We're not talking about denial. We're talking about direction. You're not rejecting pleasure altogether. You're rejecting the timing of it. You're saying, I'll enjoy the reward after I've earned it. That's the mindset of a champion. You see, every time you resist the cheap reward and instead choose the higher road, every time you pick up the book instead of the phone, go to the gym instead of the couch, build instead of consume, you're reprogramming your mind. You're training it to understand that the best things in life are not microwaved. They're slow cookered. Let me tell you, wealth doesn't come to the impulsive, it comes to the disciplined. The real wealth is in habits. And habits are built on repetition. So start small, delay that snack, put off that impulse, and then reinvest that energy into something that compounds. Read for 30 minutes, work on your business, practice your skill, one decision at a time. You're proving to yourself that your dream means more than your distractions. This is how you earn self-respect. Not from what you want to do, but from what you choose to do in the moments that matter. When you trade temporary pleasure for lasting purpose, you don't just build wealth, you build the kind of character that can keep it. So, kill the addiction to the easy road. The warrior doesn't look for comfort. The warrior seeks growth. Delay the reward, endure the work, and success will come, not as a surprise, but as the harvest of your discipline. Focus isn't just a tool for getting things done. It's a furnace that forges who you become. Most people treat focus like a to-do list. Let me finish this task, knock out that goal, check that box. But real focus, the kind that attracts wealth and success, isn't about productivity, it's about identity transformation. You see, success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. When a warrior sets his sights on the target, it's not just to win the battle, it's to become the kind of person who deserves victory. There's a difference. The average person wants results, but the warrior wants growth. The average person seeks recognition, but the warrior seeks mastery. So don't just focus on doing more. Focus on becoming more. Focus is the process of chiseling away everything that's not the best version of you. Now, how do you do that? You decide, I'm no longer available for distractions. I'm no longer available for mediocre conversations, shallow thinking, and half efforts. That's not who you are anymore. You put your energy into high-value activities that stretch you. Reading, thinking, working on your skills, developing your character. You focus not just to achieve, but to transform. Think about the blacksmith. He doesn't hammer the metal just to make noise. He's reshaping it with every strike. That's what your focus does to your mind, your habits, your identity. You're not just grinding for a paycheck. You're molding yourself into a leader, an asset, a force to be reckoned with. And when you become that person, wealth and opportunity start showing up uninvited. Success is attracted to strength, mental strength, emotional stability, moral clarity. These aren't gifts. They're built in silence with focus. The world can offer you 10,000 distractions, but the warrior sees through all of it. He says, I know who I'm becoming, and I won't let noise distract me from the mission. So if you want to attract success, stop chasing every new thing that flashes across your screen. Get still, get serious, build depth. Don't just be busy, be becoming. Every focused hour is a vote for your future self. Every disciplined decision is a step toward that powerful identity that naturally attracts abundance. Let others run in circles trying to keep up with trends. You build roots, build clarity, build yourself. Because in the end, wealth doesn't go to the one who did the most. It goes to the one who became the most valuable. That's the warrior's mindset. That's the path. And it all begins with focus. Not just on the doing, but on the becoming. Next, the environment you surround yourself with is a powerful force. Either it will serve your mission or it will hinder it. Every successful person knows this. You don't just choose your goals, you choose your environment. And your environment will either help you soar or keep you grounded. If you want to attract success, you have to create spaces that align with your vision and elevate your focus. Think of the warrior preparing for battle. He doesn't surround himself with distractions, confusion, or chaos. No, he creates a space of order, strategy, and clarity. His weapons are sharp, his mind is sharp, and his surroundings are in alignment with his mission. You too must choose your surroundings wisely. The first step is to create physical spaces that nurture your mission. This could be as simple as having a dedicated workspace where distractions are minimal and tools are ready. It could mean creating a quiet corner for meditation, reading, or journaling. Whatever your environment, it must serve your mission, not hinder it. Remove clutter, both physical and mental. A cluttered space equals a cluttered mind. But it's not just about your physical surroundings. It's about who you let into your world. The people you interact with will either build you up or break you down. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, who inspire you, who push you to be better. Negative, small-minded people will pull you into their vortex of mediocrity. But when you surround yourself with high-level thinkers, with people who share your values and dreams, your own mission is strengthened. The words you hear, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in, all of these shape your mind. Just as a plant grows toward the light, you must ensure that your environment is a source of nourishment. If you fill your mind with negativity and defeatism, that's exactly what you will become. But if you fill your life with uplifting, empowering messages, your own thoughts and actions will mirror that positivity. One key point is that environments of chaos only create mental and emotional exhaustion. When you're constantly bombarded by distractions, demands, and interruptions, your energy is scattered. And focus is hard to maintain. It's like trying to sail a ship in a storm. The wind is all over the place, and you're just trying to hold on. But when you create an environment of calm, focus, and order, your ship sails effortlessly toward its destination. This goes beyond just your workspace or physical surroundings. It's about structuring your day, your habits, and your interactions in a way that amplifies your focus and discipline. Set boundaries with your time. Say no to things that don't serve your mission. Establish routines that keep you grounded in your purpose. Once you remove the chaos and distractions, clarity emerges. You can think deeply, plan effectively, and take purposeful action You're no longer wasting time on unnecessary things or draining your energy on things that don't align with your goals. You've cleared the path for your mission to take center stage. When you do this, when you intentionally create environments that support your goals and serve your mission, something remarkable happens. You begin to see progress faster. Your mind becomes clearer, your actions more purposeful, and your results more consistent. You stop fighting against the distractions, and instead you start harnessing the power of your environment to propel you forward. So take a good look at your environment. Are you surrounded by chaos, negativity, and distractions, or have you created a space that fuels your passion, reinforces your focus, and strengthens your mission? The choice is yours. You are the architect of your own environment, and it's time to build one that serves the warrior within you. The external world is often a reflection of the battles fought within. If you're not winning the war inside your own mind, then no matter how hard you try, victory on the outside will remain elusive. The greatest warriors know this. The first battle must always be fought within. You must conquer your inner demons. Laziness, doubt, fear, distraction, before you can conquer anything else in life. It's easy to look at someone who is successful and assume that their achievements come from external factors, good timing, the right connections, or just sheer luck. But the truth is, success is not a matter of chance. It's the result of relentless internal discipline. The real battle is not fought in the marketplace or on the battlefield of competition. It's fought within the arena of your mind. The most important fight is the fight to overcome self-doubt. If you cannot conquer yourself, you will always be at the mercy of your circumstances. You will be controlled by your emotions, swayed by every external situation, and thrown off track by every little inconvenience. But once you develop self-mastery, once you conquer your internal struggles, the external world no longer holds the power to sway you. You are now the captain of your ship, and no storm or wave can knock you off course. Think of it like this. If a warrior is to lead an army, they must first win the battle within. They must develop mental toughness, discipline, and focus. They must learn to control their thoughts, emotions, and actions. Without this internal control, the warrior is not equipped to face the challenges ahead. And this principle holds true for everyone. If you can't control your mind, your thoughts, and your actions, how can you expect to control your external circumstance? The battle against laziness is perhaps one of the most difficult internal battles to win. It's so easy to fall into complacency, to procrastinate, to put things off for later. But a warrior mindset isn't about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about showing up and doing the work even when you don't feel like it. You don't wait for the mood to be right, you create the mood through action. You win the inner battle by taking consistent action, no matter how small. You train yourself to push through resistance and to act, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Doubt is another formidable enemy. It whispers in your ear, telling you that you're not good enough, that success is out of reach, that others are more deserving. But the true warrior doesn't listen to the voice of doubt. They listen to the voice of their vision. They understand that doubt is just an obstacle to overcome. To conquer doubt, you must feed your mind with affirmations of strength and possibility. You must surround yourself with success stories, affirm your own potential, and trust that every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Distractions are another enemy in the inner battle. We live in a world full of distractions, social media, constant notifications, endless noise. These distractions are designed to pull your focus away from your goals, but a warrior knows how to stay focused. They know how to tune out the noise and zero in on their mission. They are relentless in their pursuit, knowing that each distraction is a small battle that must be won if they are to achieve victory. Once you've won the battle within, the outer world becomes much easier to navigate. You become unstoppable. Remember, the external world is a reflection of your internal world. If you master your mind, you will master your life. So win the inner battle first, and the outer one will be a natural consequence of your victory.